what's the benefit to it?
Through the chair to Councilwoman Witten's question, and so everybody could have the information. We demoed this machine, and if you go through the city and north of 20 properties where we have parks, buildings, there's playscapes, there's mulch beds, there's trees. We do north of, if we were to do everything in a calendar year, we're gonna be north of 1,000 yards of mulch easy. That requires a 4 to 5 man crew. If we run deliveries, you need a couple extra guys, or if we do site deliveries from the company, if we have a big enough order, this can really minimize. We were doing roughly about 80 to 100 yards a day with 2 guys. You basically need someone to load the hopper. There's a 150-foot hose. There's no wheelbarrows. There's no manual shoveling, loading, dumping, raking. This is all blown out, feathered by the machine that has a 150-foot hose, and it just makes us so efficient to get that portion of our job done in a timely manner throughout the city and not trying to piecemeal it all year long.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Mayor?
I did go to, I went out to Boardman Park when they were doing it, and this is an expensive piece of equipment, but when I saw it in action, and when Guido explained to me how many people it normally takes and how long it normally takes for just to do that play area at Boardman Park, and to see how quickly they were able to do it, and the job that it did, it definitely made sense, and that's why I was okay definitely with purchasing this piece of equipment.
Councilwoman.
This is a truck with, or is it like a trailer?
I mean, it's a big unit. It looks like a big trailer, and it's got a huge hopper on it with a conveyor belt and a tumbler, a wheel that turns the product through, and it has a forced air, and it pushes it out through a hose that can go in 50-foot increments, but you pull it with a truck.
Okay, I was trying to look it up online, but like I said, I know that we got good feedback on Chelsea Park, and that's when you had brought up that you had demoed this on that, and
And I can't stress enough, the playscapes have to have a certain level of mulch in them to be, to have the HIC rating for head impact criteria. So it's a very important piece of equipment to keep us on task to get that done yearly. All right, Councilwoman.
So, is this something, have we had this machine before ever, or?
We have not. So we kind of started to do some research, and there's companies out there that will come and they charge you X amount of a price per yard. And it started, I was like, that's going to be pretty expensive to have another company do that. We have labor in-house, but we're literally sending 5, 6 guys to have to do, for example, we did Northwest Pool before we demoed this machine, and they were there days doing those playscapes, those beds, those trees. After we got this machine, we probably would have done it in under 5 hours with 2 guys, not 5, 6 guys. So it's something we've never had. We started to do research. As time evolves, there becomes tools that make us more efficient. This is one of those.
Chairman?
Councilwoman.
So is this like a seasonal thing? Is it something we could rent? Or?
It's not got a high rental rate. I did kind of check into that. Very expensive to rent, and it's not always going to be there for us. So by seasonal, we will do playscapes. I would love to get those done at the beginning of the season, but the buildings are going to go when the schedule permits. That's City Hall, DPW, Rec Center, fire stations. It really is a tool that allows us to keep things in a bit of a more beautification, beautiful state where, the curb appeals at a higher level for us as opposed to not being done and looking a little bit tired. Councilwoman.
Does it come with a warranty, or like how long does this machine, how long do they usually last?
Yeah, I can share the package with you. The machine's going to last a long time. I believe how long something lasts is also in the care that you provide it, but it has an industry standard warranty, 5 years on parts. Labor's included in that first 5 years, and then there's a couple items that extend past that, but I could share that package with you guys from Alta Equipment through Finn. That's not a problem. It does have a pretty standard warranty, but the care will be kept. It will be kept inside. We'll make sure all dirt fittings are greased. We'll make sure it's cared for properly, and hopefully it lasts long past I'm gone, and the next generation can use it to stay efficient.
Thank you. I don't need any further information.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All good questions. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Yeses have it, motion carried. Next is a motion to approve Hennessy Engineers Incorporated, approved city vendor for engineering services to consult and manage HVAC upgrades at City Hall and the Taylor Police Department for an amount not to exceed $194,500 funded through TVA capital outlay.
Motion.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Rose, supported by Councilwoman Daniels. Is there any discussion?
Chairman.
Councilwoman.
I know engineering was brought up before in a meeting, and it stemmed from like a Tifa agenda item, where I had asked at one point if we bid engineering out to some extent, right, where we get like hourly rates, but I had asked before if it was possible to bid engineering on a project base, and I was told it was, and so I was hoping to see that on, I know the next one is like 20-something thousand, it's a smaller one, which I don't think is as significant, but, I mean, this agenda item's 194,500, so I would like to see, we bid out, we have 3 engineering companies that when we have these projects, we then bid it out between those 3, because how do we know that that's, I know we have their hourly rates, but how do we know that this is the best price for the project?
Through the chair, on this specific one, I can tell you I reached out to all 3. One did not have the capacity or the time to manage this for us at the moment, and the other did not get me the information back. I still do not have it. These guys met. We thoroughly went through all these items, went through each of these buildings, and this is the proposal that was submitted to help us build that specification to get these buildings a little bit back up to snuff. I know you guys feel it in the summer months in here. I'm not blind, I see it, and it really bothers me when I sit here and I see the residents and it's, 100 out there and we can't properly cool. This is one of the rooms that's gonna get a supplemental 5-ton on it, but there's engineering involved in that. There's a lot of different things that have to happen. I really try not to use engineering services if I don't have to, but on this one, I feel it's definitely a necessity.
So Chairman, I appreciate that. Just for my own purposes, will you send a recap of that you had reached out to them? And I appreciate that you did that, so I'm satisfied.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Yeses have it, motion carried. Mr. Gillen, just as you were talking, this is one of our residents fanning themselves back there, so it's strange that it's hot, this hot in November. So, all right. That brings us to item 8.8, which is